Devaya Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar Krishna Balaram Bal Gopal Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Shishi Gonitai Tulsi Mani Haridas Thakur Guru Parampara Srila Prabhupada Guru in the assembled devotees. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Canto 11, chapter number 4, continuing on with the discussions between Maharaj Nimi and the Navyogendras. So this chapter is Drumila explains the incarnations of Godhead to King Nimi. Yesterday, chapter 3 was so much instructions, such a phenomenal chapter, which we should try to remember, actually, try to read it a few times. Anyway, today's subject matter is the incarnations. The various forms of the past, present, and future incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, and the various transcendental characteristics of each of these avatars constitute the subject matter of this chapter. So, interesting, one God, so many forms, so many different characteristics of these forms. So they're not all the same, they're all different. King Nimi said, the Supreme Lord descends into the material world by his internal potency and according to his own desires. Therefore, please tell us about the various pastimes Lord Hari has performed in the past, is performing now, and will perform in this world in the future in his various incarnations. Drumila replied, innumerable qualities of the Lord, this is he's talking about. Even if it were ever possible to count all the particles of dust on the face of the earth, which is actually impossible, any attempt to count all the innumerable transcendental qualities of the unlimited Lord Hari would simply be madness. You can't count the qualities, they're unlimited. Lord Narayan created the universe out of the 5 elements manufactured by his own Maya, entered into that universe in the form of the Supersoul and became known as the Purush Avatar. So Purush Avatar is Mahavishnu. The first Purush Avatar is the big Mahavishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu, who lays on the casual ocean, from whose breath comes out millions and millions of universes from the pores of his skin. The Lord's effects, the work of creation in the mode of passion through the form of Brahma. So he works through Brahma. He gives protection in the form of goodness through the Lord of Sacrifice, Vishnu. And he annihilates in the mode of ignorance through the form of Rudra. Incarnating in the form of Narnarayan, the greatest of sages, from the womb of Murti, the daughter of Daksha and the wife of Dharma, he taught the devotional service of the Lord, by which material work ceases, and he himself perfectly practices this knowledge. He is living even today, his lotus feet served by saintly persons. So this Narnarayan Rishi is living in Badrikaksham. When Cupid, Kandarpa, and his hosts was sent to Badrikaksham by King Indra, who became fearful and envious of seeing the austerities of Lord Narayan, the best of sages, welcomed Cupid, who was scared as the Lord had detected the deceit of Indra. So he welcomed Cupid as an honored guest. The pacified Cupid then offered prayers to Narayan Rishi. So, what were these prayers? The demigods place many obstacles in the path of those who worship you to transcend the temporary abodes of the demigods. So this shows a little bit of an envious character of the demigods. Why are they envious? They have so much enjoyment. But this is the problem with material life. You want to preserve your enjoyment, you want to destroy others. This is the problem with envy, pride, arrogance. And it's a shame. So they are envious of those who want to transcend the temporary abodes of the demigods and reach your supreme abode. Those who offer the demigods their assigned shares in sacrificial performances encounter no such obstacles. But the devotees of the Lord, they don't have to do that. They don't do that. Why should they do that? They can respect the demigods, but it doesn't have to go further than that. But because you are the direct protector of your devotees, he is able to step over the heads of whatever obstacles the demigods place before him. This is why. This is why we have this exclusive mood to worship only the Supreme Lord. He gives his full protection. Some men practice severe penances to cross beyond your influence. However, such persons foolishly drown in a cow's hoofprint. Cow's hoofprint is tiny, but the sage is saying Drumila is saying they will drown. These persons who are doing these penances will drown in this cow's footprint when conquered by useless anger. So, where does this anger come from? Pride, again, pride. Thus they exhaust the benefit of their difficult austerities in vain. While the demigods were glorifying the Lord, suddenly manifested before their eyes many women who were astonishingly gorgeous, bewildered the demigods. Sorry, I read that a little wrong. While the demigods were glorifying the Lord, suddenly manifested before their eyes many women who were astonishingly gorgeous, and they bewildered the demigods. The Lord requested the servants of the demigods to choose one of the women, and she would become the ornament of the heavenly planets. The demigods selected Urvashi. By the order of the sages, Cupid returned from there with Urvashi, and upon presenting himself before Indra, related to him everything that had taken place. When Indra heard of Naranarayan Rishi and became aware of his offense, he was both frightened and astonished. The Lord has descended into this world by his various partial incarnations, such as Lord Hamsa, the swan, Dattatreya. Dattatreya is the Lord of medicine. Dattatreya is actually the carrier of the Vedas. Dhanvantari is the Lord of medicine. The four Kumaras and our own father, Lord Brahma. The mighty Rishabdev, that's Rishabdev in the 5th canto, to teach the science of self-realization for the benefit of the whole universe. In his appearance as Hayagriva, he killed the demon Madhu and thus brought the Vedas back from the hellish planet Patalok. In his appearance as a fish, the Lord protected Satyavrata Manu, the earth, and her valuable herbs. He protected them from the waters of annihilation. As a boar, the Lord killed Hiranyaksh, the son of Diti, while delivering the earth from the universal waters. As a tortoise, he lifted Mandara mountain on his back so that nectar could be churned from the ocean. The Lord saved the surrendered king of the elephants, Gajendra, who was suffering terrible distress from the grips of a crocodile. The Lord also delivered the tiny ascetic sages called the Valakilyas. They were tiny, thumb size, 60,000 of them, when they fell into the water in a cow's hoof print, and Indra was laughing at them. The Lord then saved Indra when Indra was covered by darkness due to the sinful reactions for killing Vrittasura. When the wives of the demigods were trapped in the palace of the demons, without any shelter, the Lord saved them. This is Lord Krishna, I presume. In his incarnation as Narasimha, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons, to free the saintly devotees from fear. The Lord also appeared as Vaman and took the earth away from Bali Maharaj on the plea of begging 3 steps of land. Lord Parshuram appeared in the family of Brigu as a fire that burned to ashes the dynasty of Haya. Thus Lord Parshuram rid the earth of all the Kshatriyas 21 times. The same Lord appeared as Ramachandra, husband of Sita Devi, and thus he killed the 10-headed Ravan, along with all the soldiers of Lanka. May that Sri Ram, whose glory destroys the contamination of the world, be always victorious. To diminish the burden of the earth, the unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu dynasty and perform feats impossible even for the demigods. Propounding speculative philosophy, the Lord, as Buddha, will bewilder and the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifices. As Kalki, so that's the next avatar, the Lord will kill all the low-class men posing as rulers at the end of the age of Kali. O mighty armed king, there are innumerable appearances and activities of the Supreme Lord of the universe, similar to those that I have already mentioned. In fact, the glories of the Supreme Lord are unlimited. So here he's described past, present, future incarnations and their different characteristics, what they did, their activities. Chapter 5. Narad concludes his teachings to Vasudev. In this chapter, the destinations of persons who are inimical to the worship of Lord Hari, who are unable to control their own senses and who are not peaceful, is examined, along with different names, forms, and modes of worship of the personality of Godhead in each yuga. Interesting. So, King Nimi, he asks, kindly explain to me the destination of those who, for the most part, never worship the Supreme Lord, Hari, who are unable to quench their material desires and who are not in control of their own selves. She, Chamasa, said, from the face, arms, thighs, feet of the primeval Lord Vishnu are born correspondingly and in order of the modes of goodness, passion, ignorance. The 4 varnas, right? 4 varnas come, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the 4 spiritual ashrams, Brahmachari, Brahmaprastha, Grahastha, Sannyas. If the members of the 4 varnas and 4 ashrams do not worship Lord Sri Hari, they will simply fall down. Such a simple statement. Among these classes, women and Shudras who are generally have no contact with the hearing and chanting of Hari Bhakkata are, on account of their very ignorance, special candidates for the mercy of great souls. But now we see the opposite. We see that the ladies are very much into satsang and the men are usually outside having a smoke or a drink. So things have turned around. Previously, perhaps it was different, but now the things has changed. The members of the other 3 varnas becoming fit for achieving the lotus feet of Hari by second birth through Vedic initiation, Shauta Janma, nevertheless become confused by concocted interpretations of the Vedas. This is a big problem. Different people, different writers have written different interpretations, and they have misled people in general. Presuming themselves to be great scholars, although not understanding the essential meanings of karma, they become flatterers of other deities in their greed for fruitive results and ridicule the devotees of the Supreme Lord. They are fixed in family life, attached to mundane gossip, and indifferent to the devotional service to Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. But such attachment to family life and so on is the most natural and for the mass of people, even though it is against the advice of Shastra. Yeah, it's natural, but actually it's not meant to be like that because we are spirit souls. But because we are so conditioned to believe that we are this body, it's become natural for us to become attached to other bodies in family life, for example. But it's not according to the advice of Shastra. They are maddened by material opulence and pleasures, devoid of real discrimination and intelligence, and always function on the mental platform. Understanding ritualistic sacrifice as a necessary item for bodily maintenance, they perform unauthorized ceremonies in which there is no distribution of foodstuffs or charity to the Brahmins and other respectable persons. Instead, they cruelly slaughter animals such as goats without any understanding of the dark consequences of their activities. Nowadays, even within the Bharatiya community, there are not that many vegetarians. It's really become downgraded, or degraded, sorry, degraded. According to the Vedic injunctions, when wine is offered in sacrificial ceremonies, it is later to be consumed by smelling, not by drinking. Similarly, the sacrificial offerings of animals is permitted, but there is no provision for wide-scale animal slaughter. And actually, if there's an animal that is going to be sacrificed, then that Brahman or the priest is responsible for that animal to become a human in his next life. If that animal does not become a human, then that Brahman, that Pujari, suffers the consequences of killing an animal. Right? If he does not provide a human life for that sacrifice animal, he receives bad karma, very bad karma, as if he's eaten the meat. Religious sex life is also permitted, but only in marriage for begetting children and not for sensuous exploitation of the body. Unfortunately, however, the less intelligent materialists cannot understand that their duties in life should be performed purely on the spiritual platform. So whatever duty we have, we try to connect that to the Supreme. Somehow or other, we have to connect it. To become disentangled from such life is the principal teachings of the Vedas. Real wealth is that conducive to the faithful execution of the duty of the soul, not that which exists simply for selfish sense gratification. As a consequence of the desire to indulge the senses, men and women couple together to produce children. Engaging in animal slaughter, these human animals, what they call two-legged animals. The humans are regarded as two-legged animals. These human animals themselves suffer violence in the next life. So if we cause harm to somebody, that harm will come back to us. That's simple law of karma. Whether it's in this life or in the next life, it will come back to us. And harming others is the worst kind of karma because you're causing pain to others, pain through words, pain through actions, pain through the mind sometimes. If because of excessive greed for one's own pleasure, one commits violence against living beings, he is also attacking Lord Sri Hari, who is present in the body of all living entities as a super soul. So this is a big one. This is a big one. Committing violence, because you're actually committing violence not just against the soul, but also Lord Sri Hari as Paramatma. Materialistic people fail to see that insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body. We're so proud of our bodies, but a little bug, a little germ can knock us out for days at a time. How proud we are of our frail bodies. In such a foolish condition, the conditioned souls envy other living entities as well as the Supreme Lord, thus enviously offending others. The conditioned soul gradually falls down into hell. This is if we're looking at others and we're thinking, oh, I want to bring that person down because he's doing so well. That's not a good place to be. Those who have not achieved knowledge of the absolute truth yet, who are still beyond the darkness of complete ignorance, generally follow the threefold path of pious material life, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. Yeah. So they're not quite on this path yet, but they're not also degraded. Not having time to reflect on any higher purposes, they become killers of their own soul and are never peaceful because they consider human intelligence is ultimately meant for expanding material life. This is Maya. Yeah. How do they become killers of their own soul? Because they're digging their roots into this material world, into deeper and deeper levels. So by performing materialistic activities, more and more karma is incurred, and it becomes even harder for that soul to realize oneself because he is so deeply entrenched in trying to lord over this material world, enjoy in this material world. So that's how he becomes killer of his own soul. Neglecting their real spiritual duties, they're always in
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Is this excuse me? Is it because uh, they want to feel their great hopes and dreams?
Yes. And they're performing lots of crazy activities to fulfill those dreams. So they're taking on more and more karma.
But you say, unfortunately, they are always destroyed by.
Well, they're killing their own soul because they're becoming more and more entangled, Rather than reducing karma, they're increasing karma.
Right.
Mm.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. King Nimi inquired, in what colors and forms does the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in each of the different ages? And with what names and by what types of regulative principles is the Lord worshipped in human society? It's an interesting question. So another one of the Navyugandras answer, Kara Bhajan, he said, Shri Hari accepts in each of the different yugas various colors, names, and forms, and is worshipped by various prescribed processes. So now he'll describe. In Satya Yuga, the Supreme Lord is white in complexion. He has 4 arms, dresses as a brahmachari, is known as such names as Hamsa, and is served by the practice of meditation or yoga, which is the Yuga Dharma for all. So in Satya Yuga, because the lives are long and people can actually focus, the prescribed method of becoming self-realized is meditation for long periods of time. In Treta Yuga, he's red in color, 4-armed. He's the personification of sacrifice. He's characterized by the symbols of the sacrificial spoon, ladle, etc. He's called by such names as Yagya and is worshipped by Vedic sacrifices. So in Treta Yuga, fire sacrifices, huge sacrifices. The size of the city of London would be an arena of a sacrifice, huge. And gold, silver, so many things would be sacrificed. All the wealth is sacrificed into with these yagyas. In Dwapar Yuga, he is of dark blue complexion, wears a yellow garment, is marked by Srivatsa and other signs, has such names as Vasudev, and is worshipped in his deity form by the regulations of the Vedas and Tantras. And deity worship is the prescribed method. Glorious deity worship. In Kali Yuga, he is golden in color. So this is the prediction of Chaitanya. He's accompanied by associates who are his primary and secondary limbs and his weapons. Is absorbed in Krishna Kirtan and is worshipped by the performance of Sankirtan Yagya. Sankirtan Yagya is where you chant the holy names of the Lord loudly. Since in Kali Yuga all the goals of human life can be achieved simply by glorification of the holy name of Sri Hari, Lord Sri Hari, the inhabitants of Satya Yuga and other ages desire to take birth in this Kali Yuga. Enlightened persons worship Kali Yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by performance of Sankirtan. So this is why this is the best age. It's so easy to focus on Nam Kirtan. So easy. One who has given up all material duties and taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda is not indebted and has no need to serve. To the demigods, to the great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, even one's forefathers who have passed away. So there are certain debts which we have to pay. If we don't pay those debts, we come back. But if we worship the Supreme Lord, the debts to these personalities are automatically paid up. If we don't worship the Supreme Lord, we have to repay these debts. What sort of debts are they? The demigods, they provide rain, sunshine, etc. To the great sages who give protection, like the Saptarishis, they're the great sages. They're always providing some sort of protection. Ordinary living entities, those who even sweep the roads, for example, we owe them a debt. Okay, we might be paying council tax, which nullifies.
Oh,
Relatives, friends, mankind, and even our forefathers. Sri Hari appears in the heart of devotees who know no other shelter than him, and causelessly drives away all evil desires from the devotees' hearts. Okay. So, Vidaharaj Nimi, having heard elaborate description of Bhagavad Dharma from the mouths of the Nav-Yogendras, offered worship to them with a satisfied mind. They then disappeared. Devrishi Narad informed Vasudeva about the ultimate shelter of devotional service. Because this conversation between the Nimi and the Nav-Yogendras arose from a question by Vasudeva to Devarshi Narad. So now Narad is concluding. So he's informed Vasudeva about the ultimate shelter of devotional service, how by affectionate and intimate association, always seeing, embracing, speaking, resting, sitting together with him, and taking their meals with him, undoubtedly both Vasudeva and Devaki have completely purified their hearts. He told Vasudeva that although Lord Krishna had become his son, having appeared in this world to free the earth of its burden, he still should not think of Lord Krishna as his child, but rather as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Narad Muni is giving Vasudeva transcendental knowledge. Yes, he may be your son, but actually he's the Supreme Lord. The reason for this was that the Lord had concealed his inconceivable opulences and is thus outwardly appearing to be an ordinary human being. However, the Lord descended to kill the demoniac kings who were the burden of the earth to protect the saintly devotees. Even while they were lying down, sitting, or engaging in other activities, inimical kings like Shishupal, Paundarika, Shalva enviously meditated upon spiritual liberation in the Lord's own abode. How is that possible? Because they were thinking of the Lord. So because they were thinking of, even in a negative way, it doesn't matter. Both the demons and the devotees are awarded liberation by the Lord's mercy, whether we think of the Lord positively or negatively. Of course, we don't want to think of the Lord negatively. Why? He's glorious. What then can be said of the benediction offered to those who constantly fix their minds on Lord Krishna in a favorable, loving mood? Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, having heard this narration, the greatly fortunate Vasudeva was completely struck with wonder. Thus he and his most blessed wife, Devaki, gave up all illusion and anxiety that had entered their hearts. Anyone who meditates on this pious historical narration with fixed attention will purify himself of all contamination in this very life and thus achieve the highest spiritual perfection. So that's the end of chapters 5. These chapters are very instructive and very important to try to learn. Any questions? Any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna, Naniman?
Yes, yes. I thought that we are indebted to all the demigods, our rishis, forefathers. But here it says, but we have not reached that stage as a pure devotee, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yes, yes.
That makes it very clear.
Yes. If one is a completely pure devotee, then no doubt there's no debts. But we shouldn't be thinking in that mood, and we should try to appease and help repay the debt. We shouldn't be feeling, oh yeah, I'm a devotee, and Krishna will sort it out. He will if we are, at that level of purity. But it still shouldn't be in our mindset. We should be we shouldn't be disrespectful to anyone. The biggest way to repay most debts are showing the respect, showing the gratitude, that's the way to repay the debt. Absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that point, Naniman.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, this chapter 11 is very good, isn't it, Prabhuji?
And to 11 is phenomenal.
Phenomenal, it's phenomenal. Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of nectar.
We thought that it would be finished with the Canto 10, but it's not. It's continuing. The advice and the sort of
Yes.
what we should be doing, and
Yes.
yeah, it continues right till the end, I think.
Yes, until the 12th canto.
Yes. Lovely. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Naniman. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
In the starting when you was reading all the avatars.
Yes.
In all, if you said all the avatars like help the Gajendra, I'm talking about that.
Yes.
Do you want to turn to that page or no? It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I can do.
Yeah. And then the last avatar was Rama, or the last avatar
Kalki.
was
Kalki.
Kalki is the last avatar. Yeah.
One who's coming.
Why did he kill so many?
Because at the end of Kali Yuga, it's going to only be very sinful people living. And Kalki's job is to finish that so that a new stage of saintly people occupy the earth. So that's his mission. That's his job.
Before that, the Lord Narayan killed so many. Like Hiranyakashipu, and is that right?
Yeah. He's already done that. That's all done. Now we're just waiting for Kalki.
All right.
Is that far?
And as a Kalki Lord will kill all the low class
Yes.
men, poisoning
Yes.
as a ruler, the end of age of Kalki. Is this now?
Yes. This is now.
All
So,
right.
but still got many years left.
Yeah, you did say that. I remember. We got long way to go for that.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Robin. Okay. If there's nothing else, we can stop there. Srimad Bhagavad Puran ki jai.